All right, good evening, everyone. DayTraderRockStar here, Friday evening, after hours. Going to do a review video of today's futures action here at DayTraderRader. You know that we've been really focused on trading some prop trading accounts, and you're learning how that, not learning, but learning the procedure, how to do that. A lot of members are finding that the signals, the Rockbot, the tradeometer, all the signals, and especially our method of trading, has given us a big advantage in a situation where now they're allowing people to really trade other people's money. There's requirements and restrictions and stuff, but basically it's a clear path to how to succeed trading if you don't want to have, if you're not starting off with a lot of money. I find it as a great opportunity for new traders and old traders. First of all, the signals are going to go out for anybody. If you have a live account, I would take them. If you had a prop account, I would take them. But they're so good that now you could open up these prop accounts and basically qualify, and next thing you know, you get a professional account, and you're splitting the things. And I know sometimes in the room I'll say, well, why don't you just do that with your own money? Well, this is for people who have it's easier said than done. Excuse me. There's different ways we could handle that question. Why, if it's so easy, why don't you just do it and forget about it? Sometimes I think about that. That's one of the things I was discussing today. On the air is, you find something that's so great. Do you cannibalize it, or do you kind of sabotage it by teaching it and letting everyone know about it, and all of a sudden you're left out, and the market knows these areas and it becomes very choppy or something. I mean, when we look back, I'm looking at a chart right now, but we look back at a chart today. This is the Bullnox account that I was trading today. Now what I typically do is get in the morning. Again, this is going to be a review video. I want to try to get these out any day, any evening that we have any significant trades and stuff. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the day. We're going to point out we're going to point out the super signals, which are, that's really a defined and a very tight criteria needs to be met for that signal to go out. But that's an important signal. And I'm also going to do the play-by-play of the market. Basically, that's what I always consider. There's a football game going on, and I'm doing a play-by-play. But I'm able to identify these areas where the markets tend to give us these bigger reactions, especially in a case where we're looking at buy-side stuff. And I do a lot of buy-side stuff instead of sell-side or shorting. And not that one is better. I mean, it was a great short today that the bot caught right here. This high, the pullback, and the higher high. And this high, the pullback in the lower high. This was a textbook divergence right there. And that would have been something that you would focus on. But it takes a special, person to be able to switch like that, go from positive to negative. You might have a bias on the day. You don't want to, you're looking at the overall. It becomes more difficult than it seems. The big picture is, that was a divergence. You should take that divergence. You should put a stop at your highs of the day or that candlestick high, and then everything would be fine on that. So these are the trades that this is actually here. So I want to take off. I actually moved my Bullnox account onto this computer. I transferred the, I logged in over on this one so you could see it, because I have it on a special computer on the DTR2, which everyone gets to view that as it's trading. Now I come in the morning and we kind of review what happened overnight. Because that's all learning material. I still want to see how the market's reacting to the levels. I always look at the 3 o'clock time frame, pre-market, going into the open, and then hopefully we catch something early in the morning. That's where a lot of the good setups happen. So that's what we do in the morning. So we're going to go back out to this morning, and now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go up here. I have the script running, but I want to take the script off. And because I put this on this computer and I didn't take the trades on this computer, for some reason it's coming up saying external. If it does come up at all on that. It was before. Maybe I have to take it off. Maybe I need to take it off. So this has to be removed, I think. That's the script that I want to show you after, that we have running on the RockBot channel. All right, so these are my external, these are the trades I took today. Some of them most of the bot took. Some of them I took. Some of them were in the ES. One was in the ES. That was a really big one. The rest were in the MES. And, this is how the market started off. Now, this is different. This is looking a little bit different than looking at my MedVed trading. Because on my MedVed, we really break this market down. I'd like to just explain everything that's going on coming into the markets. We looked over, let's just take a look at the overnight here. And you can see the big move, whenever you have a big move down, you want to see what caused that move to come back up. Now, it was a quad rotation, but it was also a steep selling event here, where this kind of got embedded. This kind of gave you that quad rotation. The fast rotation happened so fast. We got up above 80. Price held underneath the 20. This held underneath the 20. That was actually a bear flag. And, that's the important safety factor that you can get out of these. If we tighten up this criteria even more, and I have so many branches I want to talk about, and I'll send this out as a podcast also, and this video might get longer than I expected. But I really want to talk about how excited, or at least I think the opportunity here is to qualify and open up professional accounts and make serious money if you wait for the signals. And the signals, that's why we go over it every single day. The signals are there. When they show up, you can see the results. So what's the question? What keeps us back from that? Fear of failure? Well, you're not failing too much. I mean, you paid pennies, actually you paid, dollars, but not, like I said, if you're doing this for the prop trading, what's your worst case scenario? You blow up an account that you pay $17 a month for. It's not like blowing, you have one ES trade go against you in real cash. You could be down hundreds of dollars quickly. So it's a big difference between that type of risk and the risk of just paying for something. You still want to succeed, and there is still that risk there. But this is a great, having this edge is like having a card counter, or having a professional blackjack player sitting next to you and telling you when you need to hit, when you need to double down, when you need to split, and when you need to hold. Because there's the little cheat sheet card. This is our cheat sheet card. We know when the market's about to give us a hand, and when we have a good hand. And we have to take those profits off the table too. So we circle those big areas. And when we go back and we review them, we could say, all right, this went up a little, and it kind of got stuck. It got overbought and then rolled over. That's fine. We're looking for a super signal that's going to get us something. Once we get something, we automatically have a trailing stop in. So we want to be in a winning position earliest we can in a trade. So I don't care if it pops right away. I don't care how far it goes. I just want that win. I want that win. Now, hopefully there's other things around the market that we could analyze and add on to if we should hold that position. Usually we are looking at that 60-minute, which is the 5-minute area. But this is also right at the open, and we know that's a very volatile time frame. So that 9 o'clock to 9:30 is very hard to trade. But it usually gives us divergences in that first 9:30 open area. And this was a very close to being that divergence. It actually was kind of a relative divergence on the 60-10. See how the 60 held up there really good. Even the 44 was a big divergence. And the 14.4. This is actually a pretty good, how far we came down. But a lot of activity going on there. Not to say that you could get it. I don't know if the bot even grabbed that or I grabbed that. Let's take a look. So let's switch back over to this chart. If I could find it. That was at 9:30. So right here, I think right before I took a trade and I got stopped, I probably got stopped out here. And that was going right into the open. I said, the open's here. And it probably didn't work. But, we had to stop. We had to stop so tight that it really wasn't it wasn't a big, actually, 65, yeah, point. That was a point. That was right at the day. Then we kind of got the pullbacks here. We started trading these. But I want to put the, you can see, just kind of remember, on the dips, we've been getting in on the dips, on the dips, on the dips. And with the trailing stop, we don't have to get that much. You know, we're actually trading a downward trend and we're getting this now. When we have that upward trend, things should be twice as good. And that's when you consider letting things run. Right now, we consider taking things off on the rotation. It just makes sense. You're sitting at the table. There's always a by the book play here. We're not guessing or anything. And the by the book here is the trend is down. Stochastics are underneath the 20 line, and we got that fast rotation, and we're holding underneath the 20. Until that breaks, we have a bear flag, and you continue to sell into that bear flag or short it. If it breaks above it and gets up to the 50, the same thing happens. That's usually a sign. Usually I see that the 20 kind of holds up, 20 holds up. Finally, the 20 breaks, and then we get stopped by the 50, and then we pull back. But once that 20 is broken, that's like a little crack in the dam here. Things are about to go because we got through the 20, now we're up to the 50, and then it pulled back. And then eventually we kind of popped out of this. This was a nice setup here. Didn't take it. That was a nice run. A lot of things happened here. That was nice. This was nice. Could have probably taken this one all the way up too. A lot of areas that we could have taken these much further. We got kind of busy on this choppiness here, but we did pretty good on that. So overall, you can't gain much from that. I mean, I'm not breaking down the charts. I'm just showing you we were pretty busy. If I overlay the bot on this, and this is the bot that's working, the 23 buy script, and if I put those parameters, I'm actually going to leave the parameters as it is. Let's just leave the parameters as it is. I just want to signal our area. I'm going to put it on the Bull Knox account, and I want this to overlay these trades. Now it's going to take out the trades I already have on there, so you won't be able to compare the two for some reason. But you can see, you know, this took all the way up to trailing stop, all the way to the top. So, you know, when you have a market that's giving you big ranges, you could get a lot more if you open up those trailing stops. But like in the webinar, we had Stungo call in. He found that his results really started getting really good once he tightened up the trailing stop and really prevented any type of loss. And that's what I've seen also. You know, that's why we had the bot activating a trailing stop after one tick, but it's following up by 3 ticks. Because these are setups that typically will work. You know, if they're not working, you want to get out. So either you're getting it and you're getting the big pops. What we're seeing, we're getting big pops on these. Or it's not working out and we get out at a very cheap price, which is perfect again for the now there is a lot more room here to grab. You know, that's what I'm saying. When we have, if this happens to be a super signal, at one point you're going to have to let these things try to go a bit. You always have the option to put the stop in underneath it or follow it up manually, but give it some room. If you get a super signal, when we talk about the super signal, meaning we're going to circle that. One of the best super signals that you're going to get it's kind of something like this right here. Even though that failed, it went up to the VWAP, it did explode off of that, and we were able to see that before it happened, and we were able to catch that. That was a very steep one. We actually came back and came back to that trend line and then really continued. So it was a little, and I remember we were right in the market at this point. We just took it, we got out, and then it flushed. And I said, boy, that's pretty suspicious that it just came back and took out everything that might have been following this up. If you had a trailing stop or something on here, and you recognize this, that's my biggest fear. You know, if this becomes an easy target for people getting in, if we say, we send out an alert and hundreds and thousands of people get in, it's very easy for hundreds of thousands of people to put their trailing stops here in this market to come right back down and take them all out before heading up higher. So that leads us to, what do we do? You know, we shut down everything just to members, and you know, I thought about it. I thought about some different options to do. If you guys have any thoughts on that, email me please, because I've been struggling with having something so good and seeing the good results and then saying, well, one day will this end? I mean, I like I like the divergence, as we said yesterday in the webinar. Divergences are a mathematical formula, and I like math. I mean, I like things that make sense. I stopped believing in Bigfoot a few years ago. I'm not a big UFO fan anymore. I'm seeing is believing. I believe that these setups right here give us great opportunities in the market. The divergence setup, again, we're just looking at this. There's a reason behind this. It measures momentum. So the momentum here, again, the momentum drops off. The price continues to move a little bit higher. You get the classic divergence. The whatever side of the divergence you are taking, the lower low and the higher low, and the divergence plays out. There's a reason there's a reason it is played out. And then we have the combination of multiple time frames lining up. We're seeing these big reactions. How do we capture these reactions? How do we hit it hard and not worry about it? We have to continue to tighten up everything. This is a great setup here. This is a divergence, trend line, super signal. We sent that out as super signal right after 150, right before 2 o'clock. Super signal right there. And look at that. Look where that went. Came into a flag. We even called that flag. Flag was a nice pullback to the 20. Pullback to the 20. This is trading higher. If it's embedded, that still works. But if it's not, if this is like the first flag of multiple flags, then you probably most likely are going to have this heading up, and it's not going to be above the 80 line. So consider yourself look at the chart and say, is this my first flag or is it my third flag? It's a big difference. Usually you get 2 flags in a row. And here's the other flag. You had this big pop and it came back, and again we say you have to close above the 20 period moving average while this is down at 20 and this is above 80. Now this was kind of right underneath that line level, but the close above the 20 was very bullish, and that just took off, and eventually we kind of came up with this divergence here. That was a great divergence, short signal. I think the bot actually caught that, even though I didn't have the bot running on the short signal, which we haven't done yet. And that's it. I mean, that's where we left off. That's where we left off here. So out of all those moves, I definitely probably could have got a much better profit on the day. And let's take a look at what we got here. All right, so I think it was 31 trades, including that was the rock bot getting in and out, and a couple of trades I took. I know which ones I did bad on. I actually chased one, which I knew I did. The one thing I said, you said what I just did. I just bought something thinking it was going to break out. And not looking at the stochastic. I said, why would I do that? Why did after all that we're doing, every trade we make is like just stacking up, and then I do something like that, and I realize it right away, because you have that urge sometimes to just be in it. At the end of the day, it hits me hard. It's like, Jesus, I don't see any setup. I think you're going higher. I want to get in. And then right from that point on, you'll start to eat away at your profits. You might be right sometimes. You might be. Most of my profits here are small, and these were mostly on the MES. So consider this. The loss here 12, the loss 6, loss 22, loss 12, very tight. But when you put it on the ES here, which I put these 2 trades on the ES, it was 112 and 175. So basically, with this script here, if this was the ES instead of the MES on these, this was the ES down here, you could see that. If these were ES, I would probably just add a 0 to these numbers and just let it ride that way, because this was only taking 5 or a couple contracts at a time. It was very, very small contracts. A lot of times I would just push the button. And most of the time it was 5 too. So I wouldn't go over 5 contracts on the MES. So that's very, 10 would be an ES contract. So we're going to add a 0 to this if it was the ES. And so that would have been a $30 trade. That would have been a $70 trade. That would have been a $20 trade. That would have been a $110 trade. That would have been a $100 trade. That would be a $70 trade. That would be a $120 loss. It would be a $30 trade. That would be $70. That would be $20, $70, $50, $100, $60 loss, $110, $100, $30, $30, $25, $124, $120. $112. These are $175. They're still going to have losses. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. It's managing these. We're at the point in this process of making the ultimate signal. We're at the process here of how to eliminate those losses and how to continue to hold on and get the biggest move. I was just thinking about it before. I said I was going to mess around with the trailing stop, just have it trail, give it more room. I think just to kind of give it more room. Started early, so we automatically get that trailing stop being put in there. We'll start it early, but we won't start it as give it a little bit more room, especially in the market that's maybe trending in a direction. You just go with that direction. So what I'm saying is I'll go to this here. This is what we're running right now. And it was working great, so it's hard to change from that because it doesn't work good. What should I do on that? All right, let's see. We're going to go. We'll give it 8. All right, let's just see what this looks like. This had a nice. This took it all the way up here now. That was three points. Took the first one off. You took the second one off, and then came up with a trailing stop. That was good. Probably keep this like this. Yeah, I want to leave this in here for now, for Monday. Looks like it's catching a lot of good moves. Remember, what's going to help here is the quad rotation too. If you get a quad rotation in some of these setups, I'm going to leave that running in the background. Or actually, I'll see what I'm going to do with that. All right, well, that's an update here. I think we're on the right track. I just wanted to update you on the setups today. Had a divergence, quad rotation. That's probably one of the best setups we want. That's the top of it. That's the top. The coil here in the stochastics. The rotation on the 60, the 40, the 14, and then we had the nice divergence on the 9.3. Nice, easy slope down it, and there's a trend line underneath us. So it had so much going on for us here. And that trend line was, actually I put that trend line with these two candles, this one and this one. And I saw the area lining up. But anyway, again, that was the big move. I think every session we're going to have a pretty big move. We just have to wait for it to happen. That is our number one move. Even here, was a good high divergence, and it popped good up to the VWAP, but it did come back down, and that was very a suspect move here by this. So I think there's shenanigans in the market at this point with our signal. You know, it just came back, it grabbed all those stops, and then continued to move higher. That is something we have to watch out for. Always, you know, if it looks like a great area and it comes back fast, it probably is a great area, and they just cleaned it out. Here we had an area that was oversold, and it kind of just really chopped around sideways. Eventually, it popped. It popped. And this one here was probably an early morning divergence. It was a slight divergence. We called it out. Had a good reversal. And had a nice run. But right up against the trend line. And then it kind of rotated over. So, again, even though it had a big move, it wasn't a great move. You know, people would probably be upset with that type of move. That's the only other setups. I mean, that's the setups. They only have, you know, here's a little divergence, but not a quad rotation. You even got a little move on that. When you have that quad rotation and divergence, we're going to take that. If we have a quad rotation and coil, we're going to take that. There was no coils really today. Started here. I don't know if that would have been, I didn't really notice it, but, you know, they're kind of coming down into that level. I didn't see any coils today. These are, you know, very sloppy, choppy. Big pop there. No, nothing. No coils. That's fine. Didn't even look overnight. There was a little coil there. Right here. There was a coil. We called that one out. And there was a coil back here. Look at that. Little coil, quad rotation here. Just a couple days ago. I keep all of them. Mark them all down. And this is in the face of a downward trend. So when we have an upward trend, this is going to be much more exciting. All right, that's it for that. I want to turn off the video. Get started on the next video. Just a little update. Again, if you're interested in getting the RockBot running on your machine, we offer it monthly, yearly, lifetime. Lifetime, you get everything. And I got a new one. I got a new script ready for you. The Momentum Trader is on its way. I previewed it in the webinar yesterday, and we're going to get the webinar. That's the next thing I'm going to do. So right after this video, you're going to get the webinar video, and then maybe you'll get something else after that. Have a great evening. I'll see you guys Monday. I'm excited to take this to the next level. If you have any comments, criticisms, suggestions, please, reach out. I appreciate all that. All right. Have a good night, everyone.